always an exciting time of year. Late October, you know, we've got some wrestle-offs to figure out here, I'm sure. You know, we get to kick it off here on November 8th against Stanford, which is a really good starting test for us. But, you know, a lot of things to figure out, but a lot of talent over here. Probably, well, not probably the most talented team I've had in the years at Virginia Tech and the years at Iowa State. So, but talent doesn't guarantee championships. So, you know, we talk to our team a lot about being really disciplined, and you know, we have to be tough. If we can keep tough and we can keep disciplined all year long, this team's very talented and is capable of a lot. So I'll open it up to you guys.
Coach, what's the status of Casey Swiderski?
Well, right now, everybody needs to be ready to wrestle. You know, we kind of maybe talked about in the off season about this guy might redshirt, this guy might redshirt. All hands on deck right now. We got a few guys. We don't have any major injuries right now. We got a few bungs here and there, but still, we've got to have the very best team ready to go. So, you know, we've got options. We've got some guys that certified at some different weights this year that people probably are not, you know, used to seeing. So we've got some options this year. So we're going to play a lot of cards. You know, especially this first month, we're going to play a lot of cards and see what the best team is.
What are some of those options given, especially the wealth of talent you have at the middleweights?
Well, you know, we've got options with, you know, Frost and Swiderski and Ichimandia at 41 and Redding at 33 and Evan Frost at 33. And, you know, you just go down the lineup. You know, we got a bunch of options at 25, at 49, obviously, if those guys had options at, you know, 41, we got Swiderski and Ichimandia. And like I said, Frost and Redding right there, all those guys in that mix. And then 49, you got, you know, the opportunity of Panero at 49, 57. You got Chittum at 57. Gosh, I'm probably forgetting somebody, but there's a lot of firepower in that conversation.
Is it fair to say then, given like last year you guys were doing the lineup juggling for a while, that this could play into November or December, trying to figure out some of
This
those
could play,
situations?
yeah, this could play for a while. Yep. You know, obviously we want to try, you always want to try to get your best team out there sooner than later, but right now we've got really good depth, and we should have everybody, you know, 100% healthy by the time we get to, you know, November 15th.
What are the expectations this season?
You know, the expectations are always to win, especially when you did what we did last year. You finished 4th in the nation. If you're not competing to win a national championship, you're selling these guys short, and you're selling this institution and the history of this program short.
Coach, how do you feel the successes of last season will play into this year?
Well, we've got to build. You know, we build every year, and we've gotten a little bit better every year, and we have a chance to do that again this year. So, you know, that's what we need to do.
What did it mean for you guys to get a team trophy? I mean, you didn't get it at NCAAs, you got mailed it later, but what did that mean for the squad to get a team trophy?
Well, I'm just glad the UPS man did find us. Trophy man. But it was, you know, just something we talked about. We talked about winning the Big 12s, and we talked about being a trophy team last year. We talked about it every day. We broke it down with that battle cry, and you know, to get it done at the end of the year was fun. So we got to keep climbing. We got to keep wanting more.
With no David Carr, how do you guys adjust?
Great question. You know, we've got a bunch of guys over here that I'm challenging, like who wants to be the next David Carr? We need somebody to step in and take over at that level, and I think we've got a lot of guys capable of it. So we've had some great battles in here, really all summer long, all fall, and now as we get into wrestling season. So, you know, we need some of those guys to step up. And, you know, besides Ichimandia and Younger and then Bachman at 184, it's a pretty young team. You know, all these guys have been in college 3 years or less, so it's a talented bunch. We need somebody to step up and take over there.
Who's competing for that 65 spot?
Well, we got Gaitan competing and Uten. Those two guys are kind of the front runners right now, it looks like. Gaitan's decided to drop to 65. He's done a really good job with his weight, but it seems to be those two guys are kind of the front runners right now. Uten's done a great job. Connor Uten's done a great job. So.
What have you seen from Younger since national?
Really, like, he took a month, probably the most depressed I've seen him since he was, you know, obviously things didn't go well for him. He fell on his face on Friday at the NCAA tournament, and I'm sure he licked his wounds for a while, but when we got back together as a team, really on right around May 25th, June 1st, he has been outstanding. And we've thrown a lot of challenges at him, so I know he's hungry right now.
Who are some of those younger guys to watch out for?
Gosh, if I told you, we'd be here till 8 o'clock at night. Just understand that we've got some really good young guys to watch here, and you you're going to get a chance to see him a lot in November.
How important do you feel the leadership is from some of your veteran guys?
We need somebody to step up and be that David Carr leader too, and I'm starting to see that a little bit. I see that with Younger, I see that with Anthony, I see that Casey's turned into one of our best leaders, really doing a great job in the room, really matured, and that's what you want your guys to do. Everybody comes in there, freshmen, they're trying to figure things out. They're immature, they do dumb things, and we probably all did when we were that age, but the amount of maturity that I've seen, especially out of Casey and him just kind of wanting to take over this team a little bit, along with some of, along with Anthony and Younger, has been fun to watch.
How have Anthony and Younger kind of helped bring Asmani along?
Well, they're interpreting daily, so they know a lot about. They went through all the struggles, especially Younger. Younger came over here during COVID and went through all the struggles that Asmani's doing. And just to see the amount of, really he's further along in his English speaking than Younger was when he was, here 5-6 months. Asmani got here in May, and so he's had about 6 months here, 5 months here, but he's really, down the road a lot here. He's probably one of those guys that if you stick a mic in front of him, he's probably going to get really nervous and won't be able to get anything out. But if you get him one-on-one, he's really done a good job just in the English department. So he's had a lot thrown at him, just like those guys did when they came over. So it's a lot. You got a guy that's trying to figure out school, trying to figure out folk style wrestling, trying to figure out how to maintain his weight, because when you're an international guy, you make weight 4 times a year. When you're a college wrestler, you make weight 16 times in 4 months, and it's really hard. And so he's having to work to make that weight, but he's doing a good job.
What does Asmani bring to the wrestling mat?
Athleticism. I mean, he's an athlete. You're going to watch and go, wow, this guy can do some stuff.
Have you gotten used to seeing David Carr here in this room in a polo instead of
No, he
in
looks good in
wrestling
polo
gear?
over there. You look good in that polo, don't you, Carl? Yeah.
Has that been odd for you?
He's in the room training all the time, so things are kind of the same. I mean, he's in here scrapping all the time. He can't wait to get overseas. He's going to go overseas after the first of the year, maybe even before the first of the year. So he wants to make world teams. He wants to win world medals. He wants to win Olympic medals. And we got Marcus Coleman. We got another guy from Cuba, Renery Ortega, that we brought over about a year and a half ago. He's phenomenal. We got a really solid professional training center right now.
What have you liked out of Pinheiro coming back after everything you went through last year to come back in the wrestling room and competing again?
Luckily, Pinheiro's pretty hard. Like, he's pretty even keel. He's, not a lot gets Pinheiro excited in terms of he doesn't get rattled very easy. He's a pretty cool cucumber, and he went through all of that kind of stuff, and really kept his composure during it all. And at the end of the day, he's going to win that fight, and be rewarded for it probably. But he's excited to get back in the mix.
What have you seen from Bachman?
Bachman's a tough dude. He's a tough dude. He's going to really help us at 184. You're going to like to watch him wrestle. He's a hard-headed dude from Alaska. Blue collars they get, and we like those kind of guys.
What does the next level look like for Anthony, for Chittum, for Swiderski, a number of your guys that performed really well last year?
Well, we got some guys that we snuck Frost in there, and we got Swiderski in there. So now we got to get up there with the air thin and get in those top couple steps. We got to get guys like Chittum on the podium and Pinheiro on the podium. I mean, they've done everything but that, so it's time.
How did you
Christian
address?
Carroll brought to your wrestling room?
Christian Carroll's a lot like Asmani, and he's crazy athletic. He's got some things to figure out, and he's got to get used to the grind. Those guys both have to get used to the grind of Division I wrestling, and they're trying to figure that out right now. And when they figure that out, they're going to be phenomenal. We just got to get consistency out of them. But on a good day, that guy is the best guy in the nation at 197 on a good day. But we got to get him to figure out how to have good days.
How do you do that?
You just got to grow up at some point and just realize that this is hard and you got to come in and train. On his good days, he's incredible. He still hasn't figured that out, but very few of us did when we were freshmen. I mean, he was hurt all last year when he was at Oklahoma State, from what I understand. He did not get hardly any mat time, and you can't get things done over there if you don't get things done in here. You got to have the mat time, and that's what he's going through right now, and he's pushing.
Why should fans be excited about this team?
That's a great question, but we talk a lot to our guys about entertainment value, and you're a product, and you step into Hilton Coliseum. I don't know what it costs to get in there, $10, $15, $20, but people want their money's worth. They don't want to see 2-to-1. They want to see guys getting after it, and I think we have one of the most entertaining teams in college wrestling. That's why you need to get your season tickets, and that's why you need to get out here.
Late addition with Aiden Riggins, but what did you like about him and what does he brought to the
I like Aiden. He's a tough kid. He's an Iowa kid, so he's going to be in the mix.
How did you address the end of last season for Younger? What did you tell him to kind of turn the page this offseason?
Well, you learn a lot from failing, and you get put in tough situations, and you got to be ready to go. And he probably got out over his skis a little bit in terms of being self-confident and thinking sometimes you just got to show up because I beat a guy in December that I show up in March. It's going to happen again, and it doesn't happen at this level. You got to be ready to take somebody's head off. If you got to take it off in December, you take their head off in December. If you got to take it off in January, you take it off in January, and you take it off in February and March for sure. And we got to understand that.
How has the success of the football team trickled over into maybe recruiting for Saturday visits or anything like that?
It's a fun place to be right now, Ames, Iowa right now. I mean, the coaches right now at Iowa State are really, really doing well. We got a bunch of teams, obviously in the top 5, the top 10. So football Saturdays are fun. Our staffs, our recruits, we've had a couple recruiting weekends. We're going to have another recruiting weekend November 15th, where we've got a lot of nationally ranked kids coming in. And that'll be a football game and a wrestling match, so that's going to be our big weekend.
What are some of the things you've done to prepare for November 8th?
Well, we're in here grinding. We give them today off because you guys get all their energy is going to go to you guys today, right? But we're training hard. We'll be in tomorrow morning. We'll be in tomorrow afternoon.
Last year, I think everyone kept saying with Evan and Jacob, they couldn't tell them apart in wrestling and as people. So has that been more of the same in terms of the
I still can't tell them apart. I've been around them 3 years. I still can't tell them apart. Unless they're standing in line of weigh-ins and one's at the 133 line and one's at the 141, then I kind of figure it out. But they're pretty tight.
With so many young faces and new guys who transferred in, what's the culture been like with these guys adjusting to this new team?
We are blessed. We have a great culture. Like as a coach, you always want to say, I'm going to put this great culture together. It's not easy. It's not as easily said as done. And sometimes it's just personalities jiving. And I think last year, this team wanting to win a team championship so bad really was evident, and we've kept that going right now, despite all of the portal and all the other crap. We've kept that going, and it's a pretty tight bunch. And some of these guys are going to wrestle off and try to really get after each other, and then they'll probably be best friends the next day. But there's going to be some competition here when we get to these wrestle-offs.
What's the next wrestle-offs look like then? 2:30 game?
2:30 game looks like right now we're going to go at 10:30 before the game, and we're going to have to do some 2 out of 3s and some of those weights, and we'll probably do it at 6:30 at night. So we're going to go best 2 out of 3s for some weights. We'll have some exhibition matches, and then we'll also have some wrestle-off matches, and then we'll have to push a couple back to the weekend of after the Stanford match, because you got to get a couple guys that are dinged up that I won't wrestle on November 2nd. All right, thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.